Hi, welcome. This is D&D Night on DDOstream.
That's
And there are a
fine,
bunch
that's-
of people
that's
in
what
this
I have
channel.
to do.
Can you hear them now? Can they hear you?
They can hear us now. We're actually streaming now, and I can hear her.
Okay, I'm back.
Yay!
Yay!
There are a lot of people in this chat room.
Heck yeah, they are.
So this could get really interesting. Welcome to D&D Night on DDOstream. We're kicking off. This is technically our session 1. We had a session 0 where
Okay, so
I
you don't know
kind of did some
directly
D&D
what-
stuff, but this is really technically my first session as a dungeon master.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, solid, thank you.
Awesome.
You got so mad at me. Shame on you.
Do you have an open mic though?
Do I?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Might want to turn push to talk on.
I fixed it in 90
Okay.
seconds. Top. Give me some proper response.
Yeah, put push to talk on because we can hear you
Yes,
whenever
I
you
know.
talk.
Okay, no, like my parents are literally screaming in the background. How do you do that? I don't know.
Go to your user settings
Mhm.
next to your name and go to your audio. Your voice and video, and where it says input mode, check the push to talk button. And you'll need to set a shortcut. All right. While that's happening, I'm going to say hi, welcome again. Hi, welcome, all the players. I'm assuming everybody's still here and nobody's fallen off the radar, gone to sleep.
I think we're still here.
Hope for the best. Hope for the best. So this campaign, everybody has very nicely, graciously agreed to be part of this party while I DM for the first time. And we are in Eberron in the general Stormreach area. And I think to start things off, I'm just going to share a map of the north part of Zendrick, which is in general where we're hanging out, where we're doing stuff. For the players who participated in our little session 0, you know that you're kind of based out of Korthos Island at the moment. You've signed up to do some work with an organization called the Heroic Union of Greater Stormreach. And the local 86 of that organization has started up on Korthos Island. After you had a little bit of interaction with first assignment, for the Union was going to be heading on a boat to the Cerulean Hills. You have taken a boat ride that was pretty uneventful, faster than you expected, and you have landed in Stormreach, where you met up with 2 other members of your party. No sooner than you landed on the docks, Nola has ushered you to another boat. Now, while you traveled with Nola from Korthos Island to Stormreach, the 5 of you, it was Laren, Zalaria, Brighton, Pants, and Nissa. Nola told you something about your job. She briefed you that your first job is with the Lord Garridin Zendalo of the village of Willowdale in the Cerulean Hills. He wants the head of a river monster that has apparently been terrorizing the countryside, and he's willing to pay good money for it. However, if you can bring the creature back alive, there are handlers in House Vidalis that will pay double for the chance to breed dangerous and exotic beasts.
I'm sorry, the head of a what?
The head of this beast that Lord Zendalo is sending you to
Oh,
dispatch.
we haven't. Oh, we don't know what the beast is yet. It's just a dangerous beast.
Yeah, it's just a general. This is what Nola knows about the job. It's some beast monster thing that he wants killed. But she does tell you that if you can take it alive, you could probably make some more money off of this.
Gotcha.
So no sooner than you disembark in the harbor, Nola shuffles you towards another vessel. This time it's one of Surinek's riverboats. This is a business that makes regular treks up and down the Koronoo River, upon which Stormreach is built. There you find another pair of adventurers who are going to be part of your party, and you're meeting for the first time. One of them is a halfling, and the other one, I'll leave it to you to tell. I'll leave it to her to tell you, or he or them to tell you what they look like. But I think this is the point in the story where you guys should probably introduce yourselves. So going from left to right in Fantasy Grounds, how about everybody kind of say, you can say who you are in real life if you want to, and then say what character you're playing today. So starting with Tholgrin.
Rhys, that's you.
That's you, Rhys. Okay, starting with Kit Kat.
So, I'm Tessa, and my character is Kit Kat, and she is a human who she has short brown hair like a bob, and she comes from a very well-off family, and she's an opera singer that came from she travels around singing with traveled around singing with a group, and she's now on her own because she got booted from that group for unknown reasons.
Ooh.
Yes.
What's her appearance like now when the group meets her for the first time?
Oh, so she has a bob hair, like brown bob haircut. She's wearing leather pants, a lot of leather clothing. She has some armor around her chest for protection, and that's pretty much it. She's wearing a bunch of leather armor.
Does she look like a particular race?
She looks human, mainly human, like all normal humans look like.
We might have some abnormal humans in your party, I'm not sure.
Never know. She looks like a normal human.
Okay. How about Isabrix?
This is Judye, Geek Mom, and she is a halfling cleric. She has a curly hair and green eyes, and at the top of her hair she has a little top knot, and sticking out of the top knot are 2 little knitting needles. And she's wearing the robes of House J.
Now, is your name, do you say it Isabri or Isabrix?
It is a Brix, but you can call me Izzy.
Okay. Zalaria?
So I'm Lily, and my character is Zalaria, and she's an elf ranger. She's on the younger side, and she's just, not quite an adult yet. She's still a teenager. But she's got bright blue hair, and she's wearing kind of forest colored clothes, I would say. She's a bounty hunter, and she trained for a while with her teacher out in the forest, kind of, and she would come into an urban setting, and she's, practiced bounty hunting, so she knows some criminals, but now she's taking up exploring, hoping that she can find something new.
Okay, cool. Does Laren have his mic yet? Okay.
I think I have to know.
Yeah. We'll continue with Brighton.
My name is James, and I'm playing Brighton Halfswing, a halfling barbarian hailing from the Talenta Plains. veteran of the last war. He dislikes all elves, and Valinar elves in particular, because they killed his dinosaur mount. So,
Oh,
Oh,
why would
So-
someone kill a dinosaur?
I know, right?
Zolaria apologizes for the elf that killed your dinosaur. I'm sorry.
Is Brighton wearing his? He has a mask, right?
yes, Brighton does carry a mask that is fashioned from the skin of his dinosaur, as well as several of its teeth to primary
I
claws.
actually almost gagged.
That's kind of morbid.
Very.
Is he wearing it right now, or is that
He-
something he
he-
saves for special occasions?
He wears it around his neck, almost like a necklace, but then pulls it up over his face whenever he goes into.
Okay. So he's not necessarily wearing it right now. I guess it depends on how many elves are on the dock.
We'll see.
Okay. How about Pants?
This is Tholgrin playing the part of Pants the Bouncer, who is a Warforged juggernaut that was supposed to go to the front lines over in Sharn and Corvair at the end of the last war. Never got to because the war ended, so he kind of got auctioned off and got bought by a bartender. So he was a bartender for the last 2 years, and then the bar burned down, and now he's having a bit of an existential crisis. Went to Korthos Island, fell off the airship, walked the entire rest of the way covered in salt water and seaweed, and then signed up for the heroic Union of Greater Stormreach Local 86 because, why not?
It was something to do. He also recently met his first chicken
Yes,
that
yes,
wasn't cooked.
Oh.
a Bok demon. Feathery Bok demon.
Yes, lots of things for Pants to learn about the world.
Oh, yeah.
I shall now call chickens Bok demons.
The
Yeah,
next,
it was going buck, 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 buck.
it was. That was pretty much all it was doing, unless it was eating popcorn. How about
Or being lassoed.
or being lassoed? How about Nissa?
So my name is Rena, and I'm playing Nisa, Shield of Stars. She is a Valinar elf who comes from the Terrandal Elven, whatever. She's Terrandal elf, so she's quite uniquely warlike, I guess.
Yeah. Yes, a very warlock-like section of the not the doors, the elves that came out of Eberron.
So she's also a veteran of the last war. She fought through most of the war until Valinar claimed part of Seer as their own nation. And now she is wandering so that she can fulfill her duty to her patron, whose name is Isabel Stardance, who is one of her ancestors. She's usually attired in kind of robes and armor. Her face is veiled, and she carries a double-sided scimitar that has been passed down in her family for many generations, and its name is Harmony.
And it's a sweet weapon.
We have a question in Twitch. Did Nisa happen to kill any dinosaur mounts?
Oh, geez.
That would be awkward.
Yeah, this is
Of
awkward.
course, Lord Silverhand starting to, instigating things.
Not yet.
She hasn't ruled it out.
It's early
Not
days in the
yet.
campaign.
Not yet. Could happen. Never know. Could.
Yes, we heard you.
Do we have Ilarion back?
Brewster's back.
I'm back.
Yay!
Yay.
The Discord had launched an installation in the background, so it seemed to take over my microphone. Sorry about that. I am Rheist. I will be playing Eberron. He is a human fighter. His background is that his father was a moderately successful trader, but Eberron didn't really care for some of the shadier sides of his trade. And so he kind of, at a young age, moved into the wilderness to kind of seek out his own fortune and his own destiny, and has basically spent the last few years being a guide, showing other parties how to travel between cities, etc. So he's kind of spent too much time on his own.
Okay, cool. Or not cool, I guess we'll see as the party ventures forth. So, as you get ushered onto the riverboat, Nola hands you a business card. And it looks like this. And she says, when you're ready for another boat to come bring you back from Willowdale, just burn this card. It sends a relay message. Don't lose it, because then you'll have to get a ride back from Zindalo or hoof it back to Stormreach the long way by foot. Safe travels and farewell, and do lots of interesting things. Make the Union look good. And with that final declaration, she leaves you to the riverboat and disappears within the throng of people on the crowded docks.
I love how it's called the HUGS business card.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Love that.
Because that's what it is. So you're all on the riverboat. It promptly takes off. You're the only ones on the riverboat other than the skipper, who is a shifter of were-rabbit form, named Leopold. But he's not really communicative. He doesn't like to talk. He's kind of reminiscent of like Brighton, a little bit like a Laren, and kind of staying back that way. He does kind of acknowledge Zelaria, because he's run into her before, because she's at least traveled south of Stormreach on her different hunting expeditions in the past, so he's run into her. But otherwise, he kind of just doesn't have anything to do with anyone. It takes you a couple hours just floating along on this riverboat on the Koronoo River to reach Willowdale. In that time, is there anything that you guys might do while you're waiting on the boat? Or do you talk to each other at all? Or do you just look at the sights as you float downstream past the rolling hills?
Oh, Pants is just sightseeing like he's never seen trees before, because most of these he hasn't.
Izzy will take out the knitting needles out of her bun and start knitting.
What are you knitting? What is Izzy knitting?
Socks.
Oh!
Of course she is.
Everyone's going to need socks.
Mm-hmm.
And weapon cozies.
And weapon cozies. Excellent.
Nissa?
Kit Kat pulls out her flute and starts playing.
Nissa just sits down and pulls out a whetstone and starts sharpening her blades very slowly while she's eyeing the rest of the party.
All ready for business?
Brighton at this time is trying to stay away from the two elves, and especially not making any eye contact.
Well, Zelaria is sitting far across the boat from Brighton, but she's watching him. She's just enjoying the sights as well.
Alrin has simply found a quiet spot on the deck and is just kind of taking it all in.
Just keeping to himself.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we still don't really know what it is we're hunting, do we?
You just know that you're supposed to talk to Lord Garrison Zindalo when you reach Willowdale, and that he
Okay.
wants you to hunt some kind of beast.
Okay, so it's contact. Okay, gotcha.
So after a couple hours floating along the river, comes into view is a very large, a massive, giantish bridge from a former age that arcs over the river completely and leaves plenty of clearance for the riverboat to pass underneath. And as you do that, a village by the riverside comes into view. Leopold pulls you up to the dock, and he nods at you and adds a little plank for you to leave to disembark. And then he starts to look kind of impatient and tap his very large rabbit-like foot, waiting for you to disembark.
All right, get on shore and start plodding towards the village. I'm assuming that's Willowdale, so without asking anyone, just keep on going.
Well, stepping off the river barge, you finally arrived in Willowdale. It's like a growing frontier community on the edge of less civilized lands around Stormreach. It's the last fringes of community outside of Stormreach, and it serves as a hub for hunters and prospectors, farmers, traders, and adventurers looking to make a living off the untamed and mysterious lands of Zindrick and beyond. You're on like a fairly large square dock, and here, let me show you, share another map.
We have maps.
You have maps.
Whoa!
You're on a dock.
I'm on a dock.
When
That
you
was
get off the
pretty
riverboat, you just see one guy on the dock, and he's messing around with a fishing pole and his fishing gear, and he's talking about fish a lot. And if he looks at you, if any of you meet his eye, he might talk to you. Beyond that, you see two buildings that are larger than everything else in the village. One of them has a swinging sign in front of it and it appears to be the local tavern. And then there's another that has a blue and white striped awning that looks like it might also be a shop.
All right. Guess we go meet our lordly person. I'm gonna guess probably in a tavern.
I would think the tavern first.
We have 2 votes for tavern.
I would agree.
I
Valeria.
vote.
I'm always up for more ale.
Everybody's pro
Taverns.
tavern.
Taverns are usually the customary meeting place.
Taverns are also my favorite terrain.
As you
Well-
approach, oh, what were you saying?
Nothing. Never mind.
Okay. As you approach the tavern, you see the sign swinging out front says it's the Sunken Barge.
Sorry, sunken what?
The Sunken Barge.
That's
It
not
has-
ominous.
It has the look of the finest city establishments you've seen in larger cities, if you've seen them. Obviously, Pants has seen a tavern before.
Just one.
And it's certainly a little bit fancier than the one that you guys have recently experienced on Korthos Island, the Wavecrest Tavern. But you can tell it has some stained glass windows, and
Ooh.
the doors are kind of like carved and fancy and polished. And you see 2 heavily armed young men standing out in front of the tavern, scrutinizing your approach.
Give them a nod and walk right on in.
They block your entry,
Oh.
So rude.
and they say, "You can't enter the Sunken Barge with your weapons," the tallest of the 2 men says. "You have to toss them into this box here, and you can get them on your way out." And he points towards a wooden box with a large lock padlock that's standing next to the entrance. And you can see a tarnished key around the neck of the second man. While neither of these were clearly not educated at Morgrave University, their crossed arms, stern expressions, and large biceps show that they mean business. And they're basically kind of the bouncer doorman of this establishment.
Not one to give a fellow bouncer an issue. I'm just going to hold up my 2x4 and go, is this considered a weapon? It's just a gnarled 2x4 that's been got divots and chunks missing out of it.
The one who first spoke to you, he kind of tilts his head and he's like, "It's a piece of wood. It's just a piece of wood. Why that's not a weapon.
Okay, just checking, and then continue to go on in.
But then he points towards the people with swords and whatnot, and staves and double-bladed scimitars, and he's waiting for them to put their weapons in the box.
Nisa pulls her veil across her face and crosses her arms. She is not giving up her weapons.
And before we go any further, I think the first question is the Lord in the house? There's no sense giving up our weapons and going in if the Lord isn't there.
So you ask them if Lord Garrison is there.
That's correct.
They say, yeah, our father is inside.
Oh.
But
So
you will have to give up your weapons before entering, though. It's a family establishment. People from the village come here. We don't expect trouble. We don't approve of fighting within. It's all good times and happy days. As best they can be, considering.
She asks if she could keep her knitting needles because she gets bored easily.
Yeah, so the knitting needles. What do people ask about these weird things for?
Have you ever seen knitting needles?
Can be dangerous.
Zalaria will quietly, but not very happily, put down her bow and proceed inside.
Okay, what about your short swords?
Those two.
short
Or in
swords
places-
aren't weapons. They're just, utensils.
I get bored too.
Exactly.
And I suppose if somebody felt really, really strongly, you could try to sneak stuff.
As they're watching.
No, well, that's the thing. Is it
Stuff.
something that you have that's obviously a larger weapon? It's going to be kind of hard to sneak, like a double-bladed scimitar or a bow. But something like a dagger maybe isn't going to be as tough to sneak.
Well, if I had a dagger, I would sneak it, but I don't.
Alarin places his longbow and his longsword in the box, and conveniently forgets about his hand axe.
He what? About his hand axe?
Conveniently. So,
Yep.
Kit Kat, puts in her rapier, but her dagger's in a certain place that no one really wants to go looking for. So,
Okay.
All
Alright.
Brighton doesn't have much choice because all of the weapons that he's carrying are bigger than he is. So he starts unloading his great axe and his javelins and the spear he's got across his back. And
It's
hopefully
like
they
a halfling
fit
sized pile of weapons.
pretty much, yeah. And hopefully they fit in the box.
Yeah, the box is kind of overflowing here, but the guys, they'll look after everything that fits within, and whatever else is there, it's going to be kind of behind the box, not in a place where anyone could actually get to them very easily. So that's everyone except for has Nissa already given her
Nissa
weapons?
is not giving up her weapons, so she continues to just stare at the two men. She'll probably back up and say, I'll stand guard. I don't like the look of these. They're human, right? These humans.
Yeah.
So she'll just stand looking stern, her face veiled, with her arms crossed.
They'll
Totally.
kind of cross their arms and look stern back at you, but then they won't say anything else unless you try to go in.
Stirring contest accepted.
But everyone who's given up their weapons at this point, or people who have hidden a couple things, can head inside the tavern if they want. Nissa would have to stay outside.
Inside we go. Do we find someone that looks lord-like?
Oh, just so as Brighton is walking in, The guy who said we have to give up our weapons, he like bumps the dude as he's walking by, like establishing his dominance.
Doesn't that mean you basically put your shoulder into his groin?
Pretty close, yeah.
He grunts.
Assert dominance.
Next time pee on his shoes, it shows it a little bit more.
So you're there. It's late afternoon, and draped in the midday shadows, the spaciously elaborate interior of the sunken barge is even more impressive than the exterior. There are handcrafted oaken tables and chairs fill the hall. They're all scrubbed clean from the previous night's crowd. There's a comely barmaid with raven hair behind the bar, eyeing your entrance with more than a casual glance. And then she quickly gets back to work. And seated near the bar is an aged man with an eye patch, a cane, and a goblet of wine paired with a nearly empty bottle. Hold a second, and I will share yet another map.
Yay!
I haven't shared it yet. I'm just dragging some stuff.
Oh, Allery needs to be re-added to the party sheet before we get into a fight.
Okay.
Maps!
I love maps.
There's Eberron.
Wait, did she just make a Dora the Explorer reference?
She may or may not have, yes.
I'll leave that up to you.
Okay, we're gonna go with... Oh, and even totally heard aged man with an iPad.
iPad.
Wow.
The Wi-Fi sucks in here. My God, I came here from some quality time by
He's just-
myself with
He's
a
just
drink.
drinking wine, playing his Candy Crush saga.
Heck yeah.
Candy Crush.
That's living his best to worst life.
Best
Heck
life.
yeah.
Okay, well, he looks... If this guy looks like he's going to be the closest thing to a lord present in the tavern, I'm going to carefully approach, clompy clomp, 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 all over the bar, approaching about as subtly as a rhinoceros.
Clumpty clump, 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 clump.
And
Is
stand...
that the exact sound it makes?
Yes, clompity clomp, 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 clomp.
With the company in there.
And
You like skip.
then stand next to him and realize I have nothing to say and have no idea on the protocols for approaching a lord regarding a job I think we have to do. So he just stands there and stares at him without, the...
The current monarch of the Zundalo clan, the gypsy leader Garridan, is clearly not as physically imposing as maybe he was a decade ago. The claws of some beast have left scars across most of his body, especially the right side of his face, which he leaves uncovered for the world to see. It's also plain to see that the hard body of the bargeman has been replaced by years of drinking and depression. And as you approach in answer to this quest you've been given, you notice the fire of revenge burning in his remaining eye as he quickly empties his full golden goblet in one gulp. Wiping his lips on his sleeve, he gestures for you to step forward and speak.
Kind of look around at anyone else. Did anyone come with me?
I'll
did.
walk up and I'll introduce us as part of the union and that we've been sent by.
Zelaria will walk up and give a little bow just to symbolize that she respects him.
Anyone
Okay.
else?
Kit Kat like walks up and like nods respectively.
Brighton is going to try to sneak behind the bar and get a little bit closer to that comely woman.
She kind of peeps at you from the corner of her eye and then giggles a little bit and then goes back to work.
Halloran steps forward and shows the business card that we received from the HUGS Union as way of identification.
Okay. And I'm going to add that to your inventory as you're going to be the bearer of the business card. So once everyone introduces themselves and you say that you're from the Union, Garrison sets aside his goblet and he looks deadly serious and he starts to speak to you. He says, "It has been 10 years since I lost my lovely wife, Katerina." Lord Garrison declares this in a face draped with both sorrow and anger. "Her lovely body was mauled by a savage albino alligator. Were it not for my brave sons pulling me from the river after I tried to kill the beast." Garrison pauses and he wipes away his single man tear in grief. And when his head rises, a look of anger dominates his face. "Word has reached me that 2 weeks ago, a young boy spotted the albino devil when it killed one of his cattle 1 day's travel south of Willowdale. I want that beast's head for what it did to my wife." Garrison hisses and he slams his goblet again into the bar so hard that the wood splinters. "I have lived on this river all my life and never seen another albino El Lagarto. I know it was him. I will pay each of you 100 gold to slay the beast and 500 gold more if you bring me its devil head for my wall."
What did he say the beast was?
An
I will
albino
share.
alligator.
Ah,
An albino alligator.
El Lagarto.
Okay, I was confused for a second because I thought I heard albino el gato, and I'm thinking we're chasing a white cat.
Exactly.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's an
It
albino alligator.
ripped apart his wife's body.
A devil lizard.
An albino el legator. Legato. Now, of course, Pants has no idea that this is supposed to be an alligator, so he thinks we're actually looking for something called an el lagarto.
You're looking for albino El Lagarto. So he's offered you 100 gold to slay the beast and 100 gold each to slay the beast, and then 500 gold more on top of that if you bring him its head. So
Right, wait. 100 each, and then 500 each if we get the head, or just a
no,
500
just
bonus
a flat
to spread
500
around?
for the head.
Okay.
So 100 each for killing it, and then 500 on top of that, flat, for bringing the head back. What do you say in regards to what he wants you to do?
Sure.
Well, Zelaria is not one to turn down some good money, so she will gladly.
And innocents are being hurt, so Izzy's in.
Turn around and start clomping
How
out
about
towards 1 day south of Willowdale.
there's
Good
like
old toasters.
Alarian, Kit Kat, and Brighton? Are you guys on board with this? Or is Brighton still
Lauren's on board.
flirting?
I'm asking, do we know how much it would be if we, took the legato back to the people who want to breed?
Be twice that if you bring it back alive.
So 1,000 gold.
Yeah, they'd pay you 200 each, and 1,000 if you
Well,
brought back the beast alive.
Zelaria, she realizes this and decides that twice the amount seems quite a good deal, so she's gonna actually reconsider.
But are you telling Lord Garrison that you will hunt down his beast?
No comment.
Yes.
But in general, as a party front, as a party, are you giving him the impression that you're going to be tracking this beast down?
Can we have a moment to think
Yeah, I think we should
Certainly.
and like a huddle?
team gather around.
Team huddle.
Like a little bit away from him, like all in a huddle.
Heads
Is the
in.
bartender an elf?
No, she's a human.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
Reluctantly, Brighton comes around and huddles with the group, keeps looking over her shoulder at the woman behind them.
So, like, Kit Kat's like kind of whispering. So, if we give the Lord the alligator's head, we get 100 each and then 500 gold to split. Double that is what we get if we keep it alive.
I would imagine there's significant risk in bringing it back alive rather than just killing it.
And not to mention, should we be allowing something like this to continue breeding?
Because Nola did give you the impression that the collector from House Vidalis would be breeding the creature to try to make more. You don't know what use they would have for it, but you know that House Vidalis, that's basically their gig, is breeding and collecting exotic animals.
Well, breeding and collecting exotic animals is kind of counter to the primary goal, which is to make it dead.
Either way, we tell him that we're going to go hunt it, and we can leave out the other part. And then when we can always decide when we come across it as to whether or not we're going to try and bring it back. I don't think it's a good idea, because how are we going to get it back? But that's a secondary thing. You don't have to decide that now. We just need to tell the guy that we're going to go hunt it down.
I mean, I did lasso a chicken, and Zelaria has some lassoing skills, so we could team up on him.
But then how we can figure this out later, but how would we get this huge, possibly huge alligator back to here? Or away from here?
That's
and
an
I think
interesting
that's
question.
something. I think that's something we can evaluate once we've laid eyes on this thing. I mean, at this point, we're I guess guessing whether we'd be able to capture it or not. We see it and see no, we really can't do this.
So we're all agreeing that we're gonna see what's gonna happen when we get there, and we're just gonna tell him that we are gonna catch.
Yeah,
Yes, Zelaria agrees.
because otherwise our hindbrains can just say kill it, kill it, kill it, and get away from it.
All right.
I think
Sounds
what we
good.
do is we just tell him that, yes, we will hunt the beast, but we don't tell him what our intentions are once we find it.
Yeah.
Okay, so once you tell him that you're going to hunt the beast, he claps his hands together. You see the first real sign of joy cross his features since you entered the tavern. And he turns to the comely wench behind the bar and he says, Demerara, another glass. It's great news this day. These hunters, they will take care of El Lagarto. And he proceeds to drink happily. And then he tells you that he'll send a riverboat out with you, headed toward the farm where the lizard was last spotted in the morning. So you have the night to spend in Willowdale, and he gives you a 10 gold tab at the tavern each and puts you up for the night if you want to enjoy the facilities as people start to come in and as it gets later. He also comments, you seem a large group. I have great faith in your ability to get my revenge. Is everyone here in your party? This is everyone.
There's one outside watching our weapons.
Oh, she's watching your weapons. You're doing a service for me. And if I have your promise that you will not spill blood in this tavern, you will be welcome to bring your weapons inside.
Go outside, let Nisa know. Come on inside. We have a tab. Let's get whatever humans do when they drink.
He
So
also
in-
mentions, oh, go ahead.
Nisa has switched over to taking out her crossbow. Now she's polishing casually polishing the stock while she's still watching the two men in front of the tavern.
They keep looking back and forth at each other, and then they look at you, and you hear one kind of mumble under his breath. You know, so should we do anything about her? And I was like, no. She's just serious. She looks a bit scary.
So Kit Kat walks out and grabs her rapier.
Yeah, and
from
come
the
along with
box.
you. The pair outside look like they're gonna try to stop you from dragging her in. But then you see the tavern wench pokes her head out through the door, and she says, "Bello Denwa, it's not a problem. They're working for father. They can bring their weapons inside." And then they nod, and everything's cool, and everybody can collect their weapons now if you want to.
Celeria will go collect her bow and her short sword.
Collect
Kit
his
Kat
weapons as well.
as she's walking back in kind of shoves the other one as she's walking back in.
Garrison has also mentioned that if you need any supplies, there is a store called Happy Herald's. That is the building that has the blue and white awning. He says it'll be a day's trek on the river to get to the farm. And now you have the rest of the evening to spend in Willowdale before you set out in the morning.
I think we should check out Happy Harold's to see if there's any supplies that we need before we begin food and revelry.
Kit Kat offers to the Lord and says that she could sing a little bit to the people in the
Oh, you will sing?
Yes.
Come back tonight. Sing glorious songs about killing El Lagarto. It will be
Okay.
glorious.
I will come back. I will most definitely.
And being a ex-bouncer now, in his familiar terrain, Pants will post up next to the wall, watching the interior and go into sentry mode until it is time for us to leave to go find El Lagarto.
So Pants is going to just stay in the tavern. He's not going to go check out Happy Harold's.
I have a 2x4.
So you're good.
He's good.
You're doing the job that you know best.
Yeah, he's got his. I don't know if you've looked at his inventory. He's got his shoes, his pants, a 2x4, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
What
Yeah,
else does a
good.
Warforged need?
Right, he's
Pants
fine.
and a 2x4.
Friendship.
Yeah, I'm just gonna post up by the wall. He's good.
Is everybody else
Watch
heading over
everything.
to Happy Harold's? Or
Is that the only other establishment in the town?
It's the only other establishment. Everywhere else is just people's houses. There's a couple apple trees, some fields. You see one place. It looks like there's some grapevines where maybe it's a winery. But they're pretty much farmland and different people's homes.
Yeah, let's not walk into people's establishments of living.
May Zelaria ask what time it is of the day?
It's late afternoon. It's a little bit early for the townspeople to start congregating in the tavern. In another hour or so, though, you feel that people will probably be ending the day. The sun will be going down, and they'll be possibly headed to the tavern for a night's revelment.
So Zelaria will just walk outside and kind of observe the town, and then an hour later she'll come back and enjoy the tavern.
Okay. Is everybody but Zelaria and Pants headed to Happy Harold's?
Brighton's going to give a wink to the girl behind the bar and say, I'm going to go over to Happy Harold's and see if I can find myself a larger wineskin, because I know I'm going to need it.
Alrighty.
And then he's outside collecting his collection of.
I am going to see if any local people have any either fiber or yarn.
A fiber or yarn?
Yeah, like sheep fiber, like wool.
Well, most of the livestock that you see in the village, there's some goats
You can
and
spin gopher.
a couple
You can use
pigs
gopher.
You can spin gopher.
and a couple horses and a couple cows. No sheep per se.
Then I find someplace sunny and sit down and knit.
So okay, so you hang out and you knit. So that leaves Brighton's going to Happy Harold's, Eberron and Kit Kat and Nisa.
Yes,
So Eberron's going to Happy Harold's.
that's correct.
Kit Kat's heading over.
So once there's no longer any threat that her weapons are going to be taken away, Nisa kind of takes off her veil and gives the two gentlemen a little, like a half bow. She might smirk just a little bit, and then she'll follow the others towards the shop.
And they kind of grin at that, and they nod back with a little bit of respect. And anyone who's staying at the tavern is welcome to use their 10 gold bar tab for drinks and food. So we have Zelaria spending time outside on her own. At one point, the old fellow who's fishing off the dock calls out to you and yells, "Have you ever licked a fish?"
Zelaria, interested to see this all about, responds, "No, I haven't, but what do you mean?"
Oh no, I've like fished before. I do stuff with fish. They taste kind of salty, and he just kind of goes on his way, casts the line a couple more times. He seems a little bit like he's not all there.
Well, Zelaria would ask if she could sit down and fish with him.
All right, sure. He's happy to let you fish with him.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Izzy is knitting. There are plenty of benches and chairs in the vicinity of the tavern where you could just hang out outside and have a nice relaxing time in the sunshine knitting away. If you want to do that until Sunday.
That's perfect for her.
Pants hanging out in the bar. Nobody's going to really bother you, though. You see another man come in, and he looks a little bit like the fellows who were out front and Lord Garrison. There's a bit of a resemblance. So it might be another member of the family. And he comes into the bar, and he is hanging out with the barmaid, and he's kind of asking her if she's staying out of trouble, and she just giggles. She says, and she tells him that there were some visitors earlier. One of them was a really cute halfling. And the new man tells her to not misbehave, act like a good girl. And she just giggles. Everyone else who's heading over to Happy Harold's. Once you step inside, you see.
And I would assume that since I was outside guarding the weapons, that someone would relate to me what this job been taken.
Yeah,
well-
Zelaria informed her former, her friendly elf, what was going on. Elf.
About El Lagarto.
Yes, about the white El Gato.
Excellent. This sounds like a unique challenge that would bring honor to my ancestors. I look forward to killing the beast.
Excellent. Now, did you say you were going to go with everyone over to Happy Harold's? Or are you
Yes.
just. Okay. So, Nisa, Brighton, Alarin, Kit Kat are all headed over to Happy Harold's. You should have the interior of Happy Harold's now.
Yes, we are all marveling over the court.
Yeah, you see a man wearing a fedora hat. He has a big grin on his face. Probably is the aforementioned Happy Harold. And at his side, he has this little dog.
Nisa would never admit that she found the dog cute, but she does.
When you come in, the dog, he kind of looks at everyone and he looks at Kit Kat and kind of tilts his head and looks really confused. And then he turns his attention to Alarin and Nisa and Brighton, and he starts to growl really faintly. And you see the human who's with him in the fedora hat notices this. And he kind of, there, Tala, they're there. I understand. And then he looks at you and he says, how can I help you? And what do you say?
Silent.
So Brighton's response to the dog is he starts to fiddle with his mask / necklace that he's wearing, kind of strokes it like he's petting his former mount, and he says, no, we're not going to eat the dog right now. It's okay.
The dog kind of wiggles in a circle, makes a little whimpering sound, and he nudges against his master. And his master speaks up. So I'm Harold. Happy Harold, they call me. Are you looking for something particular in my store today?
What do you have? Just browsing, but what do you have?
A few odds and ends.
Like?
I mean, what are you looking for? I've got a few pieces of armor here. I don't know if I have anything in your size. I've got a couple of potions here. Nothing really fancy, magical. There's another fellow in town who deals with that. He drops by. You might find him in the tavern later. I've got a few swords, knickknacks.
Kinds of potions do you have?
Oh, some healing potions. Yeah. Do adventurers a bit of good.
What's the cost on the healing potions?
I've got 2 of them here, 50 gold each.
Out of my price range yet, I think.
You got any really big wineskins?
Oh, I got wineskins, but I think they're all normal size. Well, you're a bit on the wee side. Maybe it'd be this might be a large wineskin for you. And he pulls out the standard kind of wineskin that a human would use. And then he pulls out another one that's slightly bigger, that's more like maybe a half-orc size. Would either one of these do you? Is what you're looking for?
Very much so. How much would it take to have you part with one of those? Preferably the big one.
Oh, it's not very expensive. Wineskin isn't very expensive. It's only about 10 silver.
All right, I'll take the big one. How much for the dog?
You're not buying the dog.
The
Don't
dog
buy
is
the
not my dear Tala is not for sale.
Don't buy a dog. Oh my.
And as you look at the dog, kind of shakes a little bit, when you ask about him. And you see him kind of suddenly flash out of sight. And he's on the other side of the room, and then he runs back up to Harold.
He's
Did
a
he
blink
just
corgi.
did he just go from there to there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's all intents and purposes, he seems like it might be a blink corgi.
I so
After Brighton sees that, he's like, "Huh, dog might be out of my price range."
The dog is definitely not for sale.
Kit Kat like kind of gets down to like the corgi's level and reaches out the.
The corgi will let Kit Kat pet him. He still looks a little bit confused by
Heck
Kit
yeah.
Kat, but he doesn't have any of the kind of like fear and wariness and sense of like the he's not prone to growl at you like he is everyone else who's there.
Ooh.
So he likes you best.
And while Kit Kat's petting the little corgi, she's like giving him like, "Who's a good doggo?" and like all nice little affirmation.
And you're friendly enough, and he's getting good vibes off of you, so then you get a little face lick. And
Yay!
Thank goodness for push to talk. The squee would have blown people's eardrum.
Is there
It's a
anything
corgi.
else? Is there
Now
anything
what-
else that anybody wants to ask about? Any weapons or armor or supplies?
While Kit Kat is petting the puppy, I'd like to ask Harold. He mentioned that there was someone in town that dealt in magical equipment. Who's that person?
Oh, that'd be Keth Demith. Keth Demith, yeah. He's a trader. He sometimes has magical things available for sale. Yeah, I passes through Willowdale. I think he's in town today.
And he would be in the tavern if he's
You might be
here.
able to catch him in the tavern later, yeah.
Okay.
Is there anything else anyone wants? Any other supplies anyone wants to ask about?
Nissa kind of looks around, but she looks unimpressed.
There are definitely no double-sided scimitars in this establishment. Okay, if everyone is satisfied with their purchases, i.e. Brian has his half-orc sized wineskin, then you can head back to the Sunken Tavern, the Sunken Barge.
Now, as we head outside of Happy Harold's, are there villagers around going about their kind of daily routines?
Earlier, yeah, you would have seen some people kind of passing back and forth doing daily routine stuff. In the fields, you could see there were some people out working. The sun is starting to set now, and so you see less people outside of their homes, and you start to see smoke coming up from a couple of the chimneys on huts and the small houses. And you see more people kind of wandering over to the tavern and going inside.
I start cataloging everyone that comes in for their threat level.
It's a bunch of villagers. Most of them are human, though you do see one halfling. You see a couple of half-orcs. Everyone seems to know each other. There doesn't seem to be any strangers other than yourselves. People give you a few looks because not most of the people in the village have not seen many warforged.
Just
So,
feels
so Kit Kat walks back in and goes over to the Lord and goes, "Whenever you want me to, I can go up and start singing if you need."
So just give it a little more time because people are coming inside. You have a very small audience. You could sing if you want to. It's a very small audience. Or you could, have some dinner. And then after dinner, there should be enough people in here to enjoy what you have to offer.
How many tokens from DDO did you make? I'm just curious.
A lot.
All of them.
All the tokens. All the tokens.
Don't underestimate how many tokens she's made.
All
So
the
when-
tokens.
When Nissa enters the tavern, she's going to look around and then find a seat with her back to a wall.
So, taking what the Lord says, Kit Kat goes up and gets herself not much, but a drink.
Okay. And there's some food. It's pretty simple fare. It's either like steak or sausages that they cook at the fire and some fresh bread. Nothing fancy, but it will feed you.
Alarin comes in and takes a seat at the table kind of in the corner next to the fireplace for dinner.
So at this time, I'm assuming Zelaria has sort of wrapped up her, fishing expedition. Has she caught anything?
Yeah, you caught 2 fish, and old Tubby, which you have learned is the fisherman's name, claps you on the back, and he's like, "Good job, good eatings." And as you head back to the tavern, he goes with you, and he heads straight to the back and sits down at a card table.
Okay. Zelaria is gonna greet her fellow companions and show them her fish. Then after that, she's gonna go kind of sit down with Tubby. Is that his name?
Old Tubby, yeah.
Yeah, Tubby.
Hey, I should drag you guys into the map so you can do what you want to do.
As Brighton walks in, he makes his way towards the bar and takes his half-orc sized wineskin and tosses it up on top of the bar. All right, ready for a fill-up.
And the barmaid, her eyes get wide and she says, "Ooh, that's a big one." And she says, "Hi, my name's Jamarella."
Hi, Gemarella. I'm Brighton. And yeah, I've been told it's a big one before.
There are children.
Okay, have I missed
I'm
somebody?
talking about the wineskin. What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, sure.
I'm
Very
going,
classic.
I will go back inside once the light has dropped and take a seat by the fire.
And one of the, let's see. So people started to trickle in to the tavern. It's starting to get noisier, and you eating a little food. And now it's a fair time where Kit Kat can start to perform. If you want to describe how you entertain the patrons of the tavern.
So she goes up and starts singing songs about like travels of a bard and eventually she gets to a part about vanquishing a large El Lagarto and describing its gory death for the Lord.
And at that, Garrison Zindalo, Lord Garrison, he claps really loud and shouts, "Hey! Bravo! Bravo!" And you hear applause from people. Are you where are you standing? Are you up front?
Yeah, basically, I don't know, quote unquote, where, like there, I don't know.
Oh, well, he'll definitely, Lord Zindalo will be just wrapped with your performance. If you're singing, or if you're performing and speaking and talking about destroying El Lagarto, he is there 100% on your side.
Yes.
Pro Kit Kat.
Heck yeah.
So at this time, Zaleria would like to go to the bar and use part of her tab to get a drink.
Sure. Jamarello asks what you want. They have wine, they have some ale, they have water.
Some ale.
So she pours you an ale, and she doesn't ask you for any money because you have a tab, and she knows that.
Okay, so then Zaleria is just gonna kind of return to the edges of the room and just hang out sipping her ale.
But everybody roll perception.
Everybody roll, sorry, what?
Perception. Perception. We aren't on Korthos anymore.
Yeah, we roll great when it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but then when it does matter in like a battle, you roll like 2, 5, like
3.
that.
Okay, so Alarin doesn't really notice anything. I guess he's kind of keeping to himself, I'm assuming, as usual, maybe staying off in a corner.
Yeah, I'm sitting in the back of the room with my my back to the wall and having my dinner.
All right, so it's kind of noisy. You can't really pick out any one particular voice over another. You stay to yourself. But everyone else notices different things about what's going on in the tavern. Nisa sees two men, one of them being one of the sons from earlier on, sitting down at one of the tables, and they're egging each other on, and one of them challenges the other to an arm wrestling match. And you see a half-orc woman off to the side intently watching what they're doing and clapping. And there's some other people in this area that you see some bets exchanged about who's going to win. And then the one who was one of the Zindalo clan, you hear his name, and it's Jal. And Jal Zindalo, he wins an arm wrestling match with the other man. And there's a lot of cheering, and there's some money exchange hands. And after that, the half-orc goes over to Jal, and she's just kind of swooning all over him and just giving him all kinds of flattery. She's really impressed that he won this arm wrestling match. Izzy sees a man and a woman across from a dartboard. And the woman is throwing darts at the board, but she's kind of clumsy about it. She doesn't completely miss the dartboard, but she just gets out on the edges. And at one point, one of them kind of flips off the side and falls to the floor. And she just giggles. She's like, "This is so hard. Darts are so hard." And the man with her tells her, "You can do it. I know you can do better than that. I bet if somebody played with you, you'd have a better chance of learning how to play darts."
They're
Pants.
sharpsters.
I think someone's getting hustled.
Pants, you're just observing everyone. Nobody seems to be an immediate threat.
I was watching the arm wrestling match just in case that got that went south, but it's smoothed over, so he's gone back to.
Yeah, they
Just
seem to be kind of
scanning.
good-natured about it. Like they were really friends. They were just kind of challenging each other in a friendly type way. There was a lot of kind of bragging to see who would come out, who was the strongest. But there's no kind of real animosity there.
Yes, he's just sitting here scanning again.
Kit Kat, you see that there's a half-orc by the bar, and he keeps kind of moving. At one point, he's looking at Jamarella behind the bar, and he seems like he's kind of trying to get up the gumption to talk to her. And then he looks away, and then he paces away back towards the other room, and you see him looking at the half-orc female who's hanging all over Giles Zindalo now. And then he gets this really hangdog expression on his face, and he marches back to the bar, and he looks like he's trying to get up the nerve to talk to Jamarella again, but then he chickens out once more.
Oh, does he need a confidence boost?
Maybe so. You see another half-orc who's sitting at a table, and he's kind of muttering to himself about orcs, about the Gruul orc tribe. And Zalaria hears him say something about, they say they're the orcs, but it's not just the orcs. I've seen goblins, I tell you. I've seen goblins.
Okay, so Zalaria is gonna, continue to talk to him about that because that sounds very interesting.
Oh yeah, you can talk to him. You can talk to him about that if you want to.
I'm just gonna go sit with him and share a drink.
And he says, "Hi, what's your name? What's your name?"
Well, Zalaria is gonna say, "Well, I'm Zalaria. What's your name?"
I'm Douglas Kagar.
Interesting. Well, what did you mean when you said there were orcs and goblins?
Oh, that. Oh, there's the Gruul tribe. The Gruul tribe, they have always been a presence around here. I mean, a decade ago, not so much, because Lord Garridin and his wife, they used to keep things on lockdown, with her magic and his sword, his muscle. They would keep everything under control, and they would hunt the orcs down, and they would do these forays and just basically root them out so that they didn't bother the village, But ever since she died, Lord Garridin hasn't been keeping that under control. So the orcs keep trying. They keep, at times they're kidnapping people, they're robbing people, they're trying to get confidence money out of people. And everyone blames these Gruul orcs, though. But I tell you, I've seen goblins. There are goblins out there. They're working with the orcs. Everybody needs to be on their guard.
Interesting. So, are you telling us to be wary or cautious? Is this an issue I should really worry about?
Well, he's telling you that he's seeing goblins, and it's not just orcs out there. There's goblins out there too. Do you want to do some kind of any kind of check to see if you think he's being honest about it, or?
No, Zalaria is gonna trust that, and she's just gonna remember that information for later.
And he mumbles into his drink more about it. Yeah, there's goblins. They're going to be trouble. There's something going on with the orcs.
Zalaria takes note of that as well, and she just continues to just sit with him.
All right. Others of you, like Kit Kat and Brighton,
So,
you all see that there are people playing cards at the table. Money's exchanging hands. It's some kind of game that you haven't seen before. And you notice that on the cards, some of them have pictures on them. Some of them are just numbers. Some of them has pictures. Some of the cards have orcs on them, and some of them have alligators on them. And every once in a while, you hear a shout come up from the table, and someone says, "El lagarto!" And there's clapping and, in general, drinking in pretty good spirits every once in a while.
So,
Well, he keeps his eye on the card table, and sometimes, depending on how the hand is going, you see his expression grow very grave, like it really bothers him. But then other times, with the turn of the hand, sometimes when this El Legato card is being played, sometimes when it isn't, you see him cheer, and he's really enthusiastic about it, almost as enthusiastic as he was about Kit Kat's performance. So there's something about this game that relates to.
It's almost like they're teams.
Okay, so I'm gonna lean over to Garrison and kind of ask him. So what's that card game?
This game is a Legato. It is a card game we play here. Back in Stormreach, they play with the 12. They have their own games. But here, we play the story of El Legato and hunting down the lizard devil. That is why we play cards. You hunt down the lizard devil. It is a glorious game.
So, Kit Kat, while she's singing, she ends one song and then starts singing a song about a man who doesn't have enough courage and then finds the courage to ask this pretty lady out.
As you sing that, you see the half-orc by the bar blush, and he looks a little bit hangdog, and then he peers at you, and you see him start nodding, like, yeah, your words really ring true with him. So for the rest of the night, you can spend your time. I'm assuming that Kit Kat's going to perform here and there, and then take breaks at regular intervals to rest. You can interact more with the tavern patrons. You could engage in any of the games that they have going on, whether it's trying your hand at darts or learning more about Legato card game, or you can just drink and spend the night away, until the next morning.
Zalaria is going to try her hand at darts.
You want to try your hand at darts?
Yes.
Interesting.
Nisa would just order dinner when it's available and maybe have a glass of wine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's totally available. Now, I do have a dartboard available. If you want to play darts, the woman who was trying to throw darts earlier, she's available. She's perfectly willing to try throwing darts against you.
Well, Zalaria's going to take her up on that offer and going to ask if she wants to play darts.
Okay. Give me a moment. I want to give you some darts. You'll have 3 of them.
Okay.
And let me drag your opponent into the combat tracker, because darts is going to kind of work like range combat, but instead of throwing at each other, you're going to be throwing at the dartboard.
Ooh.
I'm excited.
Is there a dartboard token?
Not a dartboard token. Well, you have the. Did you get the picture of the dartboard?
I did, yes.
Okay, so we have that dartboard. One more second.
Take your time.
Alrighty. So what you're going to do is you each have 3 darts, and you're going to do a roll for a ranged attack with those darts. And depending on how you roll, it's going to determine what you hit on the dartboard. And whoever gets the most points after 3 darts is going to win. Now, the man who's standing by, he's going to offer up a bet on your dart match. And he's willing to put down 5 gold for whoever wins.
Okay, sounds good.
But it's like a 5 gold ante. So I guess whoever wins is going to get 10 gold. Are you willing to put 5 of your own gold?
Yes, I'll be willing to put up 5.
Okay. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh, let me give you just for reference. I have lost it. Oh, under the story tab, I think you have something about darts if you want to look at it, about the rolls. Otherwise, I'll just tell you what you get if you hit the dartboard. So if you want, you can throw your first dart.
Okay. I just rolled the dice.
All right. So it's 14, and that is a hit. But it's a single hit. Roll another d20, not a just a d20, not a. Actually, you can go ahead and roll another one with your ranged dart attack. So on your first dart, oh, tell me, you can have pink or black or blue dart.
I'd like blue.
All right. So your first dart that you throw lands on a single 14. Ploop, right there. And now it's the woman's turn. Her name is Glinda, and she's going to give it a shot. And she throws and lands a bullseye.
Oh, man.
Wow.
You got taken.
Someone got
Oof.
hustled.
I said that earlier, that someone was getting hustled.
Throw your second dart. So right now you have 14 points to her 50.
Oof.
10, unfortunately,
I suck at
Ow!
is a miss. I mean, a 9 is a miss.
Yeah.
She's gonna.
Where's that dart gonna land?
That dart, it doesn't hit the board, but it hits the rim of the dartboard just surrounding the actual point value spaces.
Now, where is the dartboard in the Sunken Barge Tavern?
If you look in the front room on the left-hand side of the room.
Oh, there it is. Yeah,
Against the
I
wall
see
there.
it.
You should see Glinda and the man who was her brother standing by there. Glinda throws her second dart. And she throws another bullseye, but it's not an inner bullseye. It's on the outer rim.
This has got to be rigged. No way.
I'm actually rolling really well. I'm surprised.
Okay.
So she has 75 points to your 14.
Yeah.
So throw your third dart.
This is it. It's the money shot right here. Even though it's impossible for me to win.
And you hit a bullseye.
I'm coming back.
So here's you have lost because you've got 64 points and she already has 75, so there's no way you're gonna win.
Yeah, I figured.
But because she wants to rub it in, she's gonna throw her last dart. And she misses.
This is gonna
It's a
lean
little
over.
bit embarrassing.
Fluke.
Lisa leans over the table and says to Alaric, "I told you that they were sharpsters."
So Glinda's won this first round of darts, and she kind of, chuckles coyly at you, and she just says, "I got really lucky."
We can play
I
again.
like how they're all being cocky about this when, 50% of the darts didn't actually hit the board.
It's true. You want to play again?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay.
I have
Well-
to redeem myself.
All right, this time, rather than go through the whole thing, well, you want to go through one more round of all the darts, and then we can move
Yeah.
on to everybody else in the party? Okay.
Yeah.
Here, let me clear the dartboard, get your darts again. And do you want to go first again this time, or do you want to let her go first?
You can go first.
Okay, for her first dart, is it still going to be 5 gold from you for the pot?
Yeah, I'll still put in 5.
So it's your last 5 gold, huh?
I mean, you gotta risk to make reward.
Alrighty. First dart she throws, she misses. So you're up.
Okay.
Oh, you need to reset your ammo. You can uncheck your 3 dart slots so that you get them back.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Now that is a hit. So roll another. Roll again to see where you landed. Okay, so you landed on 18. Bam. Okay, so Glinda's going to roll again.
I'm doing better this time.
She misses with her second dart as well. And her brother starts
Ooh.
looking nervous, and she's looking a little bit shaken, like she doesn't know what's happening. She did so well last game.
Okay, I'm gonna throw my second dart.
Go for it. All right, you hit the board again. Roll a second time.
I don't know if that went.
It did.
Okay.
And you landed on a triple 7. You landed right up there. Glinda's going to throw her last attempt at hitting the dartboard. She's trying for a big number. And she misses a third time.
Yeah. Woo!
Did
Kit
you
Kat
want-
slowly realizes that the youngest of the party is currently gambling.
And drinking, might I
She
add.
is an elf, though. So even though she's young for an elf, she's not like super young.
I'm 99 still.
Yeah.
Alright, fine. But, youngest looking of the party somehow went and was able to get you know,
She's drinking and gambling.
yeah,
It's milk. We just didn't tell her. We didn't have the heart to tell her.
it's milk.
Do
It's
you want to take
warm
your third? Do you want to take your third shot?
Yeah.
And you hit again. Roll another time. You've landed another triple. And
Big
this
money.
time, you get on one of the most valuable spots, which is a triple 20. So,
Ooh, baby.
so compared to last time, where you were soundly beaten, this time you absolutely decimate your opponent, and you have over 100 points, or no, you have like 99 points. So you've won 10 gold.
Thank you.
Now, what else is everybody else while Zalaria is gambling and drinking ale? Is anyone else doing something in the tavern to spend their evening?
Pants is just posted up and wait until morning.
Is he going to just basically stand in the corner until the sun comes up and everybody's ready to go?
Yeah. It's bonus of being a warforged. We'll just post up, thunk, sentry mode engaged, and just stand there.
All right, is Laren still keeping to himself?
Alarin has been kind of watching the dark game to make sure that everything is okay, and just basically nursing his ale.
All right. How about Izzy?
She has been drinking a glass of wine and slowly
Brighton is probably on his third or fourth ale by now,
Oh my
and is going to head over and join this card game over here, find out what this whole thing's about.
Well, you can play that card game if you want to. If you sit down at the table, they will tell you the rules for the card game.
Yeah, I just a quick thing on the rules and what the objective.
All right, let me see if I can share with you.
Is it under story?
Yeah, under story. You should have a Lagarto card game shared.
Yep, I see it.
Those's the rules.
I was looking at that earlier and I did not understand what it was about.
So I'm upping it for the people at home too. And can share card table and see how quickly we can walk through playing a hand of El Lagarto.
Ooh, we actually have a table.
Yeah, it's the card table. And if anyone else wants to play El Lagarto, there can be up to 4 players. We've got old Tubby. He's playing.
Zalaria is gonna go sit near old Tubby and just watch him, but she's not gonna participate.
I'm actually kind of jealous.
Have you seen a lot of cards being played, Pants, in your old establishment?
I mean, I'm sure there were, but I meant more along the lines that he doesn't really understand character-wise, he doesn't understand the purpose of doing it other than a means to pass the time. I meant more like me as the player. I'm kind of jealous. Raced, go play cards.
Does anyone else other than Brighton want to play cards?
Kit Kat will stop singing and end her song and walk over to play some.
You want to play some? Okay.
Sure, why not?
So we have Brighton, we have Kit Kat, we have Old Tubby, There's room for one more person, maybe two. If somebody wants to stand by, I think we can fit enough cards for everybody.
Alarin will come and join.
Alrighty. So let's see. I'll drag you. I'll drag you kind of like give you, everybody gets kind of like a column.
So we're having a little bit of technical difficulties over here. Currently Geek Mom has just gotten a blue screen of death, so
Oh no.
we're gonna work around this, and she's currently sleeping. Boom. She's nodding
She's
off.
sleeping till the morning.
She's at the table. She the wine was a little too strong for her. She's currently out on the table.
Face first in a pile of yarn.
Yeah. Nice little cushion for her head.
So
Lightweight.
the way El Lagarto works, it's kind of a semi-blind version of 21, where you're competing against each other rather than with 21, you would normally just try to beat the house and get closest to 21 without going over. In this case, you don't know the target up front. You don't know whether it's 21 or a number higher or lower. And so you're kind of gauging your success off of what everybody else has versus what you think the best strategy is going to be for getting closest to the target. And the ante is going to be one silver piece. When you start, each person gets 2 cards. One of them is going to be face down that you cannot see initially. And this isn't going to count. We're just going to walk through it. And then everyone gets a second card that's face up. Alarin's first face up card is a 5. Kit Kat is an 8. Brighton gets a 2. Which I started having problems reading, so I don't know what a 2 looks like. And Old Tubby gets an 8. Do we have 2 8s? So at this point, you can either not take another card, which is called watching, or you can choose to move forward, which means you ante again, put in another silver piece, and you buy another card face up. Everybody has a chance to do that, starting with whoever has the highest face card. So Old Tubby and Kit Kat will get to go first, and then going in order until you get to the least tally people have showing. And then we'll continue. You can have an opportunity to buy a card or pass until everybody passes. And then we would roll to find out what your target is. So for now, does anybody want to buy another card? Old Tubby definitely is going to.
So each card is another silver.
Right. So everybody, now technically this is practice, so nobody's put in any money, but if this was a real hand, everybody would have already put in 1 silver piece.
Oh, okay.
Tubby's put in a second to get his card.
Kit Kat will take another card.
Kit Kat pulled a 5. Anyone else want another card?
Alarin will take another card as well.
And lastly, Brighton, do you want another card?
Hit me.
When Brighton pulls another card, and actually there's a dealer here at the table. She's an older lady. When she deals you another card, you get an orc, which is worth 0 points.
Uh-oh.
I guess to reiterate, all the cards are face value, except for orcs are worth 0 points. And if you get El Lagarto, that is a wild card, and it's worth anywhere from 1 to 10. So you get to choose what it's worth. For the second round, we have 2 people at 13, we have a person at 12, and then we have Brighton at 9. So, Illyrian, you can go first if you want to buy another card.
Goal here is to get to 21.
Nope, you don't know what the goal is yet. I will tell you that after everybody buys their initial cards in this kind of segment round, we'll roll 3 d12 to determine what your actual goal is, what the actual target is. And at that point, you have the option to stay with your hand or buy 1 additional card at no charge. And then
I'll buy 1 more card. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's fine. And you pulled an orc, which is 0 points. How about Kit Kat?
So I guess she'll take another card.
Kit Kat pulled a 1.
At least it's not a 0.
And old Tubby, he's going to buy 1 more card. You see, he's drawn an 8, another 8, and he's kind of like, that's enough for me. So for the next round, he passes buying anything else. He's going to watch. Kit Kat, you can buy another card if you want to. Or you can watch. You can just draw no more cards and stay with 14.
So if she stays with 14 and everyone else passes, then they roll.
Then we're going to roll for what the target is.
Okay. So she'll just watch.
Okay, so Kit Kat watches 2. How about
Yeah.
Illyrian? Do you want another card or do you want to watch?
More card.
Illyrian pulls a 9.
Do I get a third card?
You'll get another one. Oh, did I not give you a third card?
No.
Sorry. I'll give you a third card now, and it's a 10. So Illyrian has 22 showing. Illyrian has 22 showing. Kit Kat has 14 showing. Brighton has 19 showing, and old Tubby has 20.
Now I have 12 showing.
You have 12 showing. It's because I can't read numbers. 2s are really hard for
Smooth.
me. Does Brighton want any other cards? Since everyone else has had a chance at 4.
I'm gonna watch.
You're gonna watch? That was everybody watching, right?
Pretty much, I think.
All right, so now we're gonna roll what the target is. And they call this spotting the beast. And it'd be helpful if I didn't cover up the dice tray. All right, so the target was 14. So everybody who's over 14 at this point folds. They're out. You have an option to take 1 more card to get closer. Kit Kat obviously is already at the goal. How about you, Brian? Do you want to risk trying to get another card?
No,
Here's
I'm
the
gonna
thing:
watch.
is you still have the 1 card that is covered, and we haven't revealed what that is.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch.
So at this point, Kit Kat and Brighton are still in the running. We're going to reveal what your face down card is Unfortunately for Kit Kat, it's not an orc, it's a 6.
Oh man.
So she goes bust. But for Brighton, well, it was a 3. So he also goes bust. That means the house wins. And that's like one round. That's one round of El Lagarto. So do you want to try to do one round for reals?
What time is it? That's my thing.
It's almost 9. And I feel like we can only do one round if we're going to do any of the cards because we need to head to the next morning.
Yeah.
I'm good. I just wanted to see how the game went.
Yeah, I think
That's how so that's how the game is with. You guys don't seem really interested in doing more of it. So old Tubby, he's a little bit disappointed, but you can see him playing throughout the night.
Of course he is.
Now with that, oh, and is Izzy back?
Yeah, I'm back. I'll wake up and head off to bed.
So Izzy's headed off to bed. Pants is standing watch. What's Nisa doing?
She's just nursing her one glass of wine and then she'll go to bed.
So it sounds like there's a lot of early nights going on here. Is Kit Kat staying up late, continuing to perform into the wee hours, or does she turn in after a while?
Kit Kat goes to bed and heads to sleep till the next morning. After thanking the Lord for letting her sing.
How about Eberron? After checking out the card table, what do you do?
I'm going to pass playing any further games, and Eberron will head to bed. And on his way out, he'll stop and just have a brief chat with Pants, letting him know that if anything comes up to wake him.
How about Zelaria?
Zelaria is going to stay up a little bit longer and just keep drinking and kind of just like biding her time.
Alrighty. Do you just chat to people?
Yep, just talk it up, live the life.
Roll and do a perception check. Oh, you know what? Okay. Roll a d12.
Is that the one like right next to the d20?
Yes. Looks like it's got some pentagons on it. You hear somebody talking about that Lady Katarina's ghost haunts the river during a full moon. But other than that, nothing really happens when you're hanging out.
Okay, then I just continue and to drink and just sort of be there.
Okay. Well, the night passes without any further events or commentary. Everybody's just good-natured, you know, playing cards, throwing darts. You see the shark gets a couple more, victims for her games, and she does a little bit better than she did against Zelaria. You see the half-orc female kind of chasing around one of the Zendalo fellows the whole night, kind of hanging on him, and you see the half-orc guy who was staring between her and Jamarella looking increasingly gloomy and downtrodden, and eventually the tavern closes and morning comes, and you guys are up pretty bright and early. I think probably because you turned in early enough.
Yeah,
As
I'm
an elf, I only have to sleep 4 hours anyway, so I've been up for quite a while.
You've been up for a while, way before sunrise. At sunrise, Giles Zindalo, who was the fellow who was arm wrestling the night before and being chased around by the female half-orc. He comes looking for you, and he has one of his brothers with him that was guarding the door earlier the previous day, collecting your weapon. And he tells you that the river barge called Katharina's Revenge is leaving the dock in 30 minutes, and you need to report there so we can head out to the farm. And he has potions of healing, one for each member of the party. So he has 7 potions of healing on him that he says his father wanted you to have for the journey ahead. So everybody will have one. If you can you add a potion of healing independently to your character sheets, or do I need to do it for you? Maybe I'll just give them.
It would depend if you had that shared in the module set, if it was available, like if we could pull it from the tab.
I haven't set up
I
treasure
just added it
set.
in.
I was able to add one to my inventory as well.
Cool. So everybody give yourself 1 potion of healing.
One of the fleshies can have mine.
Is there a fleshy who wants one more than the others? Somebody feel more
I just give it to Brighton.
squishy?
There you go. I give it to Brighton. He's
Okay.
going to get into more trouble.
Oot.
So does everybody report to the dock bright and early?
Yes.
Yes.
So the brothers, it's Jal and Denoir, and they are coming along with you to steer the riverboat and to kind of be your introduction to the farmer you're going to go talk to at the farm that last encountered this albino alligator. And they tell you it's going to take about 8 hours by riverboat to get there. So everybody hops on board, and you set sail. And you're now on the river, floating through the Cerulean Hills, down the Koronoo River. And about 2 hours into your trek, off the port side of the ship, you see a movement in the water.
Ooh.
And everybody do a perception check.
Everybody do
Perception.
Oh yeah, sure. Sorry.
white on that sky blue is really hard to read.
So Kit Kat and Izzy and Alaren and Nisa all see 3 figures beneath the water,
Figures.
just off the shore. Look, and they're vaguely in the shape of an alligator. Everybody else just thinks it was like a bird, diving off the water or something. They don't see anything in the water underneath the surface.
So Kit Kat whispers to Isabrix and goes, I thought there was only supposed to be one.
Maybe it bred a little early, and I would definitely let the rest of the group know, those who didn't see it. I'm not keeping that stuff to my.
Can we tell from this distance whether they're albino or whether they're just normal alligators?
For the people who saw something, you don't see any sign that they are albino. They're not specially colored.
Oh, they're The regular
There's-
El
They
Lagartos.
seem to be regular alligators, 3 of them. And Jal, when he hears you talking about seeing alligators in the water, he says that his father will pay 20 silver pieces for any alligator hides that you bring back.
Your father just has big grudge on anything Elgato.
Wouldn't you if the alligators killed your beloved wife?
Yeah.
What's a wife?
So, do you do anything with the alligators that you see in the water, or do you just allow the riverboat to pass on by?
All
They're
I have
not-
is a piece of wood, so I'm just gonna let them slide on by.
They're not doing anything. They're not following the boat or anything. They're just being alligators in the water, right?
Right.
I would leave them be. They're just animals. They're doing what they're supposed to be
You're
doing.
on the boat, they're in the water lurking, and there's no immediate threat.
As long as one of them isn't ticking like from Peter Pan, I'm happy.
There's no clock sounds.
Alarin chooses to leave them alone as well.
Kit Kat's
Indeed.
agreeing with the Zabrix and being like, they're not doing any harm. Why kill?
Are those chickens?
No, but they may taste like one.
Alligator meat's tasty.
So if you let the alligators, if you just pass on by, you float for another couple of hours. It's uneventful. I'm
At
trying to.
one point, Kit Kat pulls out her flute and starts cleaning it up.
So you move further downriver. Are you seeing the map update?
Yes, slowly, but yes.
So you move further downriver. And everybody do another perception check.
I see nothing.
All right. This time, Pants and Zalaria, Kit Kat, Alarin, and Nisa notice that there's a really large shape flying toward the boat. Some kind of insect's wings floating busily.
He didn't say anything about El Lagarto having wings, did he?
I don't think so. Not
Pants
that I
asks
remember.
this as
Description
he
as an
points up at
insect
the.
would be. Yeah.
If there's a flying El Lagarto, please let me off the boat.
And suddenly,
There's gonna be a flying alligator. I already know.
Probably.
I should have worn the brown pants.
the people who rolled above 10 on their perception check see
I love how this map is titled Suddenly from Above.
suddenly from above.
That's not ominous.
Angels descended and sung the glorious praises of their God.
There's hoping.
Whoa, what is that?
There's this giant wasp.
Oh no. No.
So
So Zalaria is immediately going to pull out her bow and just stand in defense against this wasp. Ready to attack if she needs to.
Alarin readies his bow as well.
I don't have Izzy on there, do I? I don't have Izzy. And let me get.
Evidently, Izzy was too busy knitting to notice the big giant bug.
Yeah, too busy knitting for the bug.
At least you didn't impale your eyeballs with the knitting needles.
There's time yet.
The
I was-
encounter is young.
I was making sure that I was staying well hydrated by taking a couple swigs from the half-orc sized water wine.
If you took too many swings from that fork-sized wineskin.
I just want to crawl into it.
So
It's
Nissa pulls
war.
up her veil and then takes out her crossbow.
Pants moves his 2x4 from the shoulder rest position to the other hand ready position, ominously, clapping it.
All right, everybody roll initiative.
Even those who didn't see it.
Only the people who saw it
Okay.
will initially have a chance to attack. So the people who didn't see it can hold off on your initiative. I think was Nisa there too?
Yes.
Yeah,
Did you
everyone
want-
but the halflings.
Everyone but the halflings see
Did you-
things.
Did you want the river wasp visible in the combat tracker?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
The river wasp gets to go first, and the river wasp has spotted Brighton, despite him only being halfling sized.
It's that water skin. It's giving him away.
It's the
It's
giant
because
water skin.
It's because I smell like wine, right? That's the sweet thing on the boat.
Yeah, that would make sense.
So he tries to attack Brighton. And 15 is a hit, right?
AC 16.
Oh, so he misses. And we'll let everybody who's seen the wasp
Wait, so the wasp attacked Brighton. From way out there over the water? Or did it like swoop in on him?
Oh, he's so big that I don't want to overshadow your actual tokens when you act, but treat it like the wasp is hovering over the ship and is pretty much adjacent to everybody at this point.
I was going to say, Kit Kat only has like close range weapons. I was gonna be like, she can't reach.
Yeah, I was like, how? Okay, but
as the giant river wasp attacks, I enact protection, and so to protect.
Who are you choosing to protect?
Brighton.
Okay. Kit Kat, you do have the opportunity to attack.
Ooh, okay. So,
It's the wasp's turn right now. There we go.
no, it's not.
Not anymore.
Ha! She's going to attempt to attack the wasp with her rapier. She fails
It's a
to
miss.
attack the wasp with the rapier.
All right, do you have any bonus actions to follow that up?
I guess I didn't roll initiative, so I'm going to try to do that.
Okay.
I'm all set.
All right. So it is Pants' turn.
Woohoo! Okay. I'm going to approach wherever the wasp is and to be in swinging range and give it a nice little swing with the 2x4. I think that'll
Wow.
do.
That's a
That'll
serious
work.
hit.
Nicely done. A heck of a log.
And unspent.
Zalaria?
So
You
he's
spotted
close
the wasp,
range.
right?
Yes, I did spot the wasp, but
Mhm.
he's
He's
close
melee
range.
range. He's not. Yeah, he's melee
Okay,
range.
thank you.
Well, at this point, shouldn't we be able to hear the wasp even if
Yeah,
we
at this
didn't see it?
point, everybody, but in terms of getting not being surprised, it is
So-
pretty much a big wasp.
So the next round we would get to roll initiative.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, makes sense.
All right, so Zalaria hits. Ooh, and she does 9 damage.
Right, and I think this thing will be dead before it gets to us and we get to notice it.
I know, right? I'm built to beat the crap out of things, and I'm not even getting a chance.
I think Alarian is the last person who spotted it.
Yes. And is it within? I know that you kept him off to the side so that it didn't oversize.
It'll be within
the
your
group.
melee range.
Okay, then I will take a swing at it with my longsword.
It was low enough to stab a halfling that was on the deck, so.
And that will be a miss. So that is everybody. Everybody has gotten to do a their initial attack. So anybody who
I did not
Oh,
do
you
initial attack.
didn't get to? Okay, do yours.
So since it swooped down to attack Brighton and it's now in melee range, she'd switch to her scimitar. I think I did the wrong thing. Just a second.
A palpable hit. And with that, the mangled body of the giant wasp collapses on the deck of the riverboat, narrowly missing landing on Brighton's head.
I just envision this being like, oh, hell no. Oh,
Flat.
By
There's
the
a lot of goo.
By the sovereign host, where did that come from?
Brighton
And
looks very sullen from not being able to attack the thing that attacked.
you missed out.
Pants pokes the corpse with the 2x4 and goes, if wasps are this big normally, I see why people complain about them.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a normal walk.
Is that exactly what you signed up for on your albino alligator hunt?
No, we signed up to hunt an El Lagarto.
Nobody mentioned giant wasps.
That's giant.
Yeah.
Are there parts of the wasp that we should harvest? Is there poison glands or anything that are valuable?
I am not touching that thing. I'm not going near it. It's disgusting.
If you want to search the wasp for any reusable parts, who knows what the wasp has who it's attacked, what it's gotten into. So if you want to search the wasp, you can do that.
Could we use this corpse as bait for the albino El Lagarto?
You probably have about half of a corpse left. You could bring it along if you want to cart around a giant dead wasp. The guts have fallen out on the deck.
Pants shrugs.
So a lot of it is the chitinous exoskeleton and the wings.
I am not touching it.
Okay, I would like to search it to see if there's anything worth keeping.
You find that it has on its wings some slime mold, which can sometimes be used towards alchemical creations. So you could take that with you. But otherwise, it's just a chitinous exoskeleton. It's really brittle, so you don't think it could be used for any kind of armor or repurposing that way.
I scrape off the slime mold and put it in my pack.
All right, I'll add that to your inventory later. And with that, that's where we're going to stop for the evening with you guys, about 4 hours halfway on your riverboat ride towards a farm where you're going to talk to the last person who saw the albino alligator, theoretically. Thanks, everybody.
Sweet. Thank
Thank
you.
You're all
you.
still alive.
Thank you.
Thank you for hosting.
And thank you for anybody who's still watching. You're all still level 1.
Well, we only killed a giant wasp.
Or some
And-
of us only killed a giant wasp. 2 of us didn't even notice the wasp until it landed on the deck.
Until the parts started raining down.
Did we get XP for that?
Yes, you did get some XP. I'll tell you after we stop streaming how much it is, so you can put on your sheets.
So what you're saying is Izzy didn't notice until she got showered with wasp goo?
Yeah, she got showered with wasp guts.
Yes.
I am never going to live that one down.
I noticed as soon as it tried to attack.
Happen.
I want to thank you guys for putting up with me as being a noob DM. I think I went a little bit map crazy. There are so many
you're
maps.
fine. You're
The
better
maps,
at
like-
maps than my mom.
Oh, geez. You did not go there.
Don't say that.
Ooh.
I went there.
The maps do look amazing.
And
though,
I want to
seriously.
thank
Maps were
Fantasy Grounds,
Absolutely, they look really good.
Fantasy Grounds, who is the sponsor of D&D Night on DDOstream. Thank you very much. And the next time we are going to be playing is on February 3rd, 7 o'clock on this channel. So come back if you want to see what happens on the river, if you want to find out about the devil lizard, El Lagarto. Come back and join us again for session 2. And with that, I'm going to bid everyone farewell. Thanks.